Ming LAI. I'm a PhD candidate of the Faculty of Education and Technology. Following Jian's presentation, I'm also interested about argumentation. My major concern is whether argumentative discourse is related to the quality of students' online discussion. So in this case, I have to characterize what I mean by argumentative discourse and what I mean by the quality of the discussion. So to characterize the discourse of argumentation, I based on the framework of Plato. He argued that there are two basic operations of argumentation. The first one is that it's about the justification of one's viewpoint. So when we put forward argument, we use some reason to justify our ideas. So an argument can be differentiated from other utterance with other communicative functions, just for example, for providing information. And the second operation of argumentation is the recognition of opposite ideas. So if we look at the thread of discussion, the thread of utterances, we can see whether there are opposing ideas within it. If we look at one single utterance, we cannot see whether there's some argumentation here. But if we look at a series of discussion, then we can see whether opposing ideas are involved in the thread. So based on the justification operation, in my analysis, I look at the discussion forum. So the students have to write their notes. I try to classify each single note to see whether they carry the function of justifying their viewpoint. So the first category I categorize is argument. So it's a claim supported with reason. So when the student try to use some reasons to justify their ideas, I classify it as an argument. You can see the example here. So just justify whether ground heat energy is good by some reasons. The second category, I call it statement. It's a claim without reason. So some students may just say, I agree, without providing reasons. If they try to provide reasons, then I classify it as an argument. And the third category is information. So students gather some information in the notes without justifying any ideas. I classify this category as information. And the last category is questions. Students may ask questions in their notes. To characterize the quality of discussion, I use the solo taxonomy, which is the structure of observed learning outcome developed by John Bex. It is an instrument developed to assess the observed learning outcome of students across a number of subject areas. So it's not subject dependent. It can be applied in a number of subject areas. So it assesses the quality of the writing of students by the structural complexity. So at the lowest level, we call it unit structure. So students just pick up one aspect in their writing. When they pick up more and more aspects, we call it multi-structure. They pick up several aspects in their writing. When they further to advance in their quality, they try to relate this different aspect into a coherent whole. So they don't just pick up different aspects, just not list a number of reasons. They try to put it in a coherent way. So in this way, we call it relational. We try to relate the different things together. And the highest quality category, we call it extended abstract. That the student, not just relating them together, go to an upper level, they use some principles to explain their ideas. So you can see some abstract principles behind the writings. So in this case, we call it the highest level. So you can see that the trajectory of the taxonomy is from facts to explanation. So the lowest level is some isolated facts, and when they came to advance the level of relational, they gain into explanation. They try to bring everything into a coherent whole. And also there's another trajectory, can find some concrete to abstract. So at the highest level, they use some abstract principles to explain their ideas. So here are some examples of the solo taxonomy. So for unit structure, they just pick up one aspect. I agree. And the multi-structure here, because they still use two unelaborated reasons to support whether ground heat energy is not too useful. It's safe and the machines are hard to build. So we use two reasons. So I call it as multi-structure. Here, the students identify different aspects of UV. UV is ultraviolet. And this different aspect combine together to form a coherent whole to explain what is ultraviolet. So I call it as relational. And here, the extended abstract. In this example, the student try to use some principles to explain this idea. Use the economic principles that although green energy is expensive, but when more people use it in the future, it will become cheaper. So we use some abstract principle, not confined with the phenomenon at hand. To use some principle to explain this idea. So I call it as extended abstract. So in my analysis, I code each loop twice. So first of all, I code the communicative function to classify whether it's an argument, whether it's a reason, or other categories like statement, information, and question. And for the non-question type, I further classify it according to its quality based on the Solow taxonomy. And for the question type, I won't go into detail today. I'm confined to the analysis about the quality based on the Solow taxonomy.